For many Democrats and foreign leaders, his defeat in the year 2020 had brought a sense of relief, allowing the Biden administration to return to what was seen as business as usual on the world stage. Yet Trump's latest remarks demonstrated that he is more emboldened than ever, determined to shape, and in many ways impose, his vision on the international community. The speech was not without direct confrontation. At one point, Trump singled out Brazil, criticizing the country while defending his decision to impose tariffs in retaliation for its prosecution of former President Jair Bolsonaro, who faced charges over his attempt to cling to power after losing an election. In a separate move that signaled his ongoing influence in Latin American politics, Trump held a meeting with Argentina's president, Javier Milei, openly endorsing him for another term. Milei, a staunch ally of Trump, received not only political backing, but also a suggestion that the United States might consider measures to help stabilize Argentina's struggling economy, a signal of the transactional and strategic diplomacy that has become a hallmark of Trump's foreign policy. There were also unmistakable signs that President Trump had returned to the transactional style of foreign policy that has long defined his political approach. Rather than relying solely on ideology or multilateral frameworks, his strategy once again centered on deals, leverage, and direct exchanges of benefit. Trump highlighted a series of foreign investments flowing into the United States, pointing out that many of these came as part of negotiations in which his administration agreed to reduce tariffs on imported goods. To him, such arrangements were proof that his brand of deal-making diplomacy delivered tangible results for the American economy. In one of the more controversial acknowledgments, Trump expressed gratitude to El Salvador for agreeing to accept and imprison deported migrants inside a notorious detention facility. While he praised the cooperation, the partnership sparked sharp criticism, particularly after it was revealed that a Maryland man had been wrongfully deported and sent to that very prison. The incident underscored the human costs of such hardline policies and ignited debate over the limits of transactional diplomacy. Yet despite the sharp edges of his address, there were also signs that Trump was not entirely walking away from traditional alliances. In a private pull-aside meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Trump signaled robust support for NATO. He stated that his administration would fully back allied nations in shooting down Russian aircraft that violated their airspace, emphasizing that the United States remained, in his words, very strong toward NATO. Following the meeting, Trump went further in a social media post, declaring that Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form. This statement marked a dramatic shift from his earlier remarks in August, when he had suggested that Zelensky should consider ceding territory to Russia as part of a peace settlement. Finally, during his discussion with United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, Trump clarified that his criticisms of the institution did not mean he was abandoning it altogether. On the contrary, he sought to frame himself as both a skeptic and a supporter.
I may disagree with it sometimes, but I am so behind it.